Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Designing for KDP tutorial video. I'm Alvaro Perez. Thank you for joining me, and if you like what you see in these videos, please consider joining the Facebook group. It's called the KDP Design Group, and you can find the link in the description. So I asked you guys a question in the group. I posted a certain graphic that looked a lot like this one, and I asked you to guess how many shapes I had to create to make that graphic. So let's have a look at this graphic here. So I'm going to open up my layers panel. We're going to look only on this layer that says left, which is everything you see here on this screen. Okay, and you'll see here that there are 9 shapes. Okay, if I click on each one of these individually, come over here, you'll see I've got that black circle, this red circle, green square, blue square with rounded corners, this orange star, this weird white shape, the pink shape that was underneath that one, this purple circle with a pattern in it, and finally this weird exploding yellow background that you see here. Okay, so that's 9 shapes. Unfortunately, that was not the graphic that I posted. This is the graphic that I posted in Facebook. Now let's look at the layers palette. We'll look at right, which is this graphic on the right. It looks identical to the one that I showed you at the beginning. When I click on the arrow here, you'll see that it only has one shape. When I close the eye next to it, you'll see that the entire thing disappears with just that one shape. Now, I didn't create 9 shapes and then combine them into one. This was always one shape. What I did was create a circle and then modify that circle utilizing an often overlooked tool called the Appearance panel. So if you don't have the Appearance panel, you go to Window, and then you can click on Appearance here. Now, while our Layers panel shows us that we only have one shape here, the real magic is happening in the Appearance panel, which you can see over here. If you look over here at the Appearance panel, you're going to see that I have 7 different strokes and 2 fills. When we create a shape, we're used to looking over here and seeing I have a white stroke and a yellow fill. We can change the color and we can change the stroke width, but we don't think much of it beyond that. With the Appearance panel, you can add as many different strokes and as many different fills as you want. And then the cool thing about this panel is that you can then add effects to them to get a different kind of look. So if I click on this arrow here and I'll show you the red stroke, which is my circle here, I have something called offset path. That offset path is what makes this stroke move away from our actual shape that we made. So if I close the eye next to offset path, you'll see that red circle collapses back onto the main circle that I created. If we look at our green rectangle that we have here, you'll notice that I have a rectangle effect that changed my stroke from a circle to a rectangle, and then it is also offset. If we look at my blue stroke here, this rounded rectangle, you'll see that I have a rounded rectangle effect. You see the word effects next to it. If we look at my orange stroke, which is this star shape, there's an effect on it called pucker and bloat. This is actually the pucker effect, turns it into a star. My white stroke and my pink stroke are a similar shape. So I created the pink stroke, I applied an effect called pucker and bloat, and then I copied it and then changed the line weight of it to get that white shape. I then have a purple fill, which we see on our main circle, and you'll see that there's an effect called stained glass on it, which gives me that texture. If I close the eye next to stained glass, you'll see it goes away and leaves just a purple fill. And finally, I have a yellow fill with an effect called a roughen, which gives me this sort of exploding graphic behind everything. So I'm not going to show you how to create all of these effects. Just know that down here you have buttons to create a new stroke, a new fill, and then an effects button. And when you click on the effects button, you'll see you have a whole lot of options of different effects that you can apply to each stroke and fill. And then the last thing you need to know is that you can then reorder these. You know, if I wanted to take this fill and move it up here above some of these other things, you'll see that that yellow shape now moved up in the stacking order. So I want you guys to go into the Appearance panel and just go crazy experimenting with this stuff and see what you can come up with. So now I'm going to come over to a blank artboard. I'm going to get my rectangle tool, create a rectangle. I'm going to apply that effect to it. Undo. I'll grab a rounded rectangle, do the same thing. Hexagon. And finally a star. Have fun, guys. Thanks for watching.